Broadcasting live from the Business RadioX studios in Atlanta, Georgia, it's time for Coach the Coach Radio. Brought to you by the Business RadioX Ambassador Program, the no-cost business development strategy for coaches who want to spend more time serving local business clients and less time selling them. Go to brxambassador.com to learn more. Now, here's your host.
Lee Cantor here, another episode of Coach the Coach Radio, and this is going to be a fun one. Today on the show, we have Coach Chris with Lifetime Leisure Experience. Welcome, Coach.
Yeah, it's great to be here with you, Lee.
Well, I'm excited to learn what you're up to. Tell us about Lifetime Leisure Experience. How are you serving folks?
Well, we service them because we empower the inside secrets, the safe, now with everybody's concerned about safety with the COVID situation, safe luxury travel for just pennies on the dollar, which bring families together so their memories last forever. That's what I'm all about. It's all about the value of travel, why people should travel. We travel not to escape life, but for life not to escape us, but how to afford it, really, for pennies on the dollar.
So now you position yourself as a travel coach. Can you share a little, maybe the difference between a travel coach and maybe a travel agent?
Yeah, I'd love to. Basically, I'm not a travel agent. I don't book your airfares. What I show you is the potential, the resources. In other words, how you go about flying for free, different alternatives in travel and leisure, the importance, the resources, the websites to how to go about the strategy. In other words, I'm known as a coach, the game plan, the X's and O's, the inside secrets, the actual plays, how to live this lifestyle of privilege and travel and leisure for just pennies on a dollar. Make it affordable for your family and friends.
So how'd you get into this line of work? How'd you kind of unlock all these tips and tricks?
Well, I've always loved travel ever since 12 years old. So I'm 73 now, and I've been traveling my whole life, and I was very blessed at an early age to travel with my family all over Europe. And as an athlete, I played golf, football, I did traveling, so I had a travel bug. I'm cultural, I'm a conductor, so I used to go to a lot of Broadway shows, and so I've always liked seeing different cultures, different climates, different atmospheres, and educational purposes. And then when I retired as an corporate executive with AT&T, I got into the speaking business. People wanted to know, how do you travel all these places? You're not Donald Trump and go all around the world. And so I turned it into basically a business to help other people share the knowledge with them. It's all about knowing the inside, like I said, the inside secrets, the resources, the loopholes, how about going about doing it. I did it for myself, and now what I do is a company, Lifetime Leisure Experiences. I'm a professional speaker, coach, consultant, podcast guest, like we're doing here, a media interview, and show other people that it's possible that you don't have to be rich to live rich if you're well educated, if you know the inside secrets and you know the loopholes. So as a speaker in my professional career, I just transitioned to speaking about travel and leisure and how to get the deals.
Now, when did you kind of have that moment where you were like, you know what, I don't have to pay rate card. There's better deals out there. When did that kind of light bulb go off and go, hey, if I'm getting a deal here, maybe I can get a deal there, and then it just kept expanding. So how did that kind of come about?
I think it was a transitional experiences. I've always been a guy my whole life that always looked for a deal on everything. With a student ID, how do I go to shows for free? When I was in the military, use my military discounts, etc. So I've always been one of those guys, consumer, that likes to live rich without being rich. So it's innate to me. And then when I got into the travel thing, I learned as you start traveling a little bit, I interviewed concierges, I read all the travel blogs, I read travel books, etc. I interviewed tourists themselves. And so it's just acquiring knowledge. It becomes a game. It's like a drug to me. How do I get the best deal there? And for instance, I haven't paid for a flight in the last 14 or 15 years. And I'm not married to a flight attendant, so it comes in handy.
So now, are you saying there's a way for anybody who's listening to not pay for their next flight?
That's correct.
So there's certain things that you know that can help somebody not pay for their next flight.
Yeah, that's correct. When we talk about travel and leisure now, uh, the value of it, we all know the value of travel and leisure. Especially after this COVID situation, families been cooped up for 18 months. They have weddings, they have graduations, the typical family vacation. It's for corporate wellness, reduce stress, reduce burnout. Families need the vacation, but the high expenses of it. Now, you touched on something. How do people fly for free? Well, here's how. Every airline, every single one, whether you're United, you're American, you're Delta, you're Hawaiian, you're Southwest, is associated with a bank that has its own credit cards. Some airlines have 2 or 3 credit cards. For instance, Delta is associated with American Express. And there's sign-up bonuses where you spend a minimum amount, let's say 2,000. Let's say with Delta now has a promotion with American Express. You get a gold credit card. You spend 2,000 on your everyday expenses. For instance, myself, I just charged my homeowner's insurance, and I wound up with 70,000 Delta Sky miles. You leverage that with your spouse. She gets 70,000 miles. If you have a business, you get a business credit card, another 70,000 miles. There's even a credit card out there that I show my clients with American Airlines. These deals change weekly, daily. You got to stay on top of it. That's why you have somebody like me that reads all the blogs, because they change, where you could buy a cup of coffee or a pack of gum. Make one purchase now on an American Airlines bank-sponsored credit card and get 60,000 American Airline Advantage miles. So you buy a pack of gum, your wife buys a cup of coffee in her name. If you have a credit score of 700, that's 120,000 American Airline miles. That's enough to go to Europe twice, round trip, or like 4 or 5 destinations in the United States. So it's a game. Well, it's pretty much known as travel hacking. A lot of people are into this game. It's a loophole game. So now every airline has a bank, has a credit card. You want to select the airline that you fly most frequently with that gets you to your desired destination, vacation destination, or business destination, or family destination, and you want to subscribe to their credit card and get the sign-up bonus, which is generally 60 or 70,000 miles. And a lot of these credit cards, you got to spend $2,000 or $3,000 over a 3 or 4 month period. But there's some, like the one I mentioned, with American Airlines, you buy a cup of coffee, one purchase. The card's free, by the way, no initiation charge. And you're going to get, that's the equivalent of $1,000 for buying these. It's all out there. These are loopholes. It's available. That's what I speak about to my clients.
Now, is it a good strategy to kind of have one airline and one hotel, so you build up kind of a relationship and points at those specific ones, or is it better to just kind of find the best deal and jump on it, whatever it is?
That's an excellent question. It all depends. With hotel chains now, the major ones, Bonvoy is now Marriott Rewards. Marriott merged with Starwood, Westin. It's one brand. I mean, it covers 20 different, from Courtyards to Ritz-Carlton, St. Regis, etc. I would say to build up loyalty with one hotel chain, like I have done with Marriott. I'm at their highest level, Titanium, Platinum, Elite, and it gets you all sorts of benefits. I'm upgraded to suites in New York overlooking Central Park, concierge lounges, free breakfast, free happy hour, late checkout, 4 o'clock, etc. So if you travel a lot, I would stick with one hotel chain. When it comes to airlines, it's a lot tougher to get that loyalty where you're going to get upgraded. So I would look for the best rate, the best credit card promotion, because different airlines fly different places. In other words, I use myself as an example. I live in Palm Beach area, Florida, but I have a place in Lake Tahoe, and I'm a ski bum in the winter, so I ski in Vail. So I know American Airlines gets me to Reno, it gets me to Vail. So obviously, I subscribe to the credit cards with American Airlines that allows me to fly for free. I also travel to New York pre-COVID because I go to about 20 Broadway shows a year. And I know from just a little research that JetBlue and Delta fly nonstop from West Palm Beach to New York. So I entertain their credit cards and I fly free on them back and forth to New York. So each family, it's a personal decision. Figure out where you like to travel to, where your family reunions are, or business destinations, and get that loyalty program. But when it comes to hotels, I try to build up loyalty with one of the top chains, and I recommend personally Marriott. It's the Bonvoy program. In other words, you could get their credit card too. Again, when I mentioned free flights, if you get the associated credit cards with Chase Bank or American Express for the hotel chains, like Marriott has Bonvoy, you spend X amount of dollars, your normal expenses, whether it be utility, insurance, etc. You're going to get maybe 100,000 hotel points, and that's the equivalent of 2 or 3 nights, etc. And you're going to build up loyalty that way that'll enable you to get upgraded to concierge lounges, late checkouts at 4 o'clock, etc. So there is a definite advantage to the loyalty programs.
Now, when somebody's working with you, are they coming to you with a kind of a vacation in mind, and they're saying, hey, Chris, can you help me just kind of wring out the most value for this specific thing? Or is this something that they're like, look, I'm at this stage of my life, I want to travel, 4 times a year, and I'm going to work out a game plan with you so I can get the most bang for my buck for my travel, for the next several years?
Yeah, another excellent question. I'm a professional speaker. Most of my seminars, I talk about the general benefits to travel and leisure and a few basic tips to save them fortunes, which I'll get into another tip in a minute. But travel is so individualistic. Some people like to go on cruises. Other people want to go on to Europe. Other people play golf. Other people ski. Other people want to sit on the beach in Maui or Aruba. Some people travel with 8 people, their family, their kids, their grandkids. Other people are solo travelers or just couples, etc. So what I try to do with my business is I tailor a program after they tell me what their goals are, where they want to travel, because everybody's different. I know I'm a skier. I like culture. Other people might like camping or cruises or going to European museums, etc. So it's very individual. It's very individual. So the solutions for those individuals change depending on what they want to do. But there's a solution for everybody out there in travel. The bottom line is, and this is one of my mantras, we travel not to escape life, but for life not to escape us. To escape us. After all, it's not the years in your life, but it's the life in those years that matter. And how important travel and leisure is to health, wellness, reduce burnout, etc., relationships. And the key is, what's the problem? People can't afford it. It's expensive. Going to 4- and 5-star hotels, getting on a flight's expensive. So I created this business really for myself to show people, again, another one of my mantras, that you don't have to be rich to live rich. Everybody needs an advisor. You go to a doctor for medical advice. You go to your stockbroker or financial advisor for financial advice, and people would come to me as their travel coach, as an advisor, to point them in the right direction, to give them the right tools, things to think about, etc., how they can, like I say, it's right on my business card. We look forward to servicing your dreams. We bring families together so their memories can last forever without breaking the bank.
Now,
so I hope that answers your question.
Well, I'm just trying to get into the logistics of how this actually works. If I'm, like, say my family have been talking for years, this is one of those things, I'm sure every family does this. Wouldn't it be great if we went to blank? And in our case, we're looking at, wouldn't it be great if we went into some around the world trip, where it was like a trip where we visit, very strategic countries and places that we're interested in going in. and I call you up, hey, Chris, this is what we'd like to do in the next, whatever, year or 18 months. Then do you help us say, okay, if you want to do this and go to these, whatever, 10 countries or 20 countries, this is how to do that. This is how you get the best flight here.
Sure,
This
I
is
give you the tactics. It's just like a coach. I'm a coach. You can see travel coach, just like a football coach does. We give you the plays, the action steps, the resources. How about going to this? How about thinking what airline goes, what season to go, what are I show people the 10 top blogs because this travel situation changes. I mean, with COVID now and quarantines and rules and regulations, what's open, what's not open. It's a daily task to find out where you want to go, what you want to do, etc. So I try to guide people in the right way. Normally, before COVID, I was giving 20, 30 talks a year. People would hire me. I'm also an entertainer. I'm a comedian. So basically, to show them the value of travel, not just the value, but again, some of these tips that they don't have to pay to fly. And then if they wanted to work with me one-on-one, yes, I would work with somebody one-on-one to tailor a program, not as a travel agent now, but give them the resources.
right. So you would give us the game plan. Okay, the first thing you want to do is like, okay, if you're going to this country, think about fall, or if you're going over here, the best deal is going to be in winter.
Right. But the two biggest expenses, it all boils down to 80 or 90% of the expenses of travel revolve around airfares, number one, and accommodations. So if we could jump ahead, because I've done a lot of these interviews, the number two thing we talked about airfares, where there's every airline has an associated credit card. If you sign up for their credit card, you're going to get the initial bonus, 60, 70,000 miles. You leverage that with your spouse or your grown children or your business, and you wind up flying for free the way I do. The other tip I give people, which is so important, is accommodations. Now, everybody thinks when they travel, hotels, resorts. I tell people in my talks, in my experience, forget the word hotel. Strike it for your vocabulary, for your typical family vacation. Well, I'm talking 5, 7 nights, etc. Why? Because Marriott, Hilton, Hyatt, Westin, Disney, Starwood, Wyndham, even the Ritz-Carlton, they all have vacation club products, such as timeshares, where instead of staying in a hotel, you could get on the internet, use this resource for your listeners, redweek.com, and rent from an owner a timeshare. Why pay for a hotel room, 400 square feet, etc., when you could get 2 bedrooms or 3 bedrooms with a full kitchen, a washer dryer, underground parking, free health club, free Wi-Fi for a third the price of a hotel room? It's possible. And let's use me as an example. As I mentioned before, I'm an active skier. I'm not rich. I go to Vail for 2 months. An average hotel room in Vail, Colorado. We're talking about luxury now. A Marriott. The Marriott in Vail during the ski season goes for about $700 a night. Oh, and another $50 to park your car, and you add on tax, you're talking $800 a night for a nice room. Typical, nice 4-star resort where you could get on the internet. You don't have to own the timeshare, they call them vacation clubs now, from Marriott, and go on the internet and from an owner rent a 2-bedroom unit that sleeps 8 now. Sleeps 8, 3 flat screen TVs, fireplace, washer dryer, free underground parking, a clubhouse with an indoor-outdoor pool, sauna, steam room, free transportation to the ski slope, same beds that are in the Marriott Hotel. They manage the resort, and you're going to pay $200 or $300 a night. Translation, you're going to pay 1/3 the price, get triple the space, and triple the amenities. It's all possible to do. So when your listeners are thinking about vacations, forget hotels or even Airbnbs. Now with safety, you're renting a room in somebody's house. You're going to save money from a hotel, but you're not going to get full resort amenities. If you're a golfer, for instance, there's resorts on Hilton Head Island where golf comes for free. You could play golf with your buddies, foursome for free with cart fees, golf fees, $2,000 or $3,000 by renting a timeshare from an owner, Marriott, that comes with free golf. So all this is possible. So wherever you're traveling, whether it's Disney World and all these timeshares, vacation clubs by these hotel brands, Hilton, Marriott, Hyatt, and there's a lot of other people, whether you're in Europe, when you're in Disney World, whether you're in Hawaii, playing golf, New York City, it's another option for your accommodations. And that's where you're going to save 80 or 90% of the time and get all these luxury amenities. And again, we're talking about safety. Instead of spending the money going out to restaurants with your kids and your grandkids, and where people are worried about crowds and safety still with this COVID environment, you have a full kitchen completely equipped to cook. A lot of them have outdoor grills, so you don't have to spend that money. You save additional money. It's a safety feature. And again, these hotel chains have strict sanitization standards. It's all published on their website. So if you're concerned about safety, you know all the rooms are basically going to be sanitized, free, cleaned very well, etc. And it's a great savings.
Well,
so I would say
that sounds like a great tip when it comes to accommodations. You've talked about airfare. You talked about accommodations. Don't you have one more tip before we wrap?
Yeah, well, there's plenty of other tips. Besides that, I mean, you're renting a car, depending, there's different resources. Renting a car is very expensive. I say join a loyalty program. I'm with National or Enterprise or Hertz, etc. Find out what your corporate discounts are. There's a lot of websites. One, if you're renting a car, use Costco Travel, looking at car rentals. Another on internet website is autoslash.com. These are the major expenses of your travel. It's airfare, accommodations, and renting a vehicle. So those three tips is going to save people 80% of their travel, and they're going to travel again. This is not Motel 6 travel. This is your all luxury 4-5-star accommodations, and a lot of these resorts, as I mentioned, timeshares, vacation clubs, come with full resort amenities. The kitchen, the washer, dryer, the underground parking, the health club, you're going to have it all for basically Motel 6 prices.
Now, how do you feel about all-inclusive, travel deals?
Again, I'm not an expert on all-inclusive travel deals, but there's some out there. I would be thoroughly research them. I'd look for testimonials, etc. I haven't done those. I prefer, the a la carte ones. But there's some people that want to go to a resort, or there's scuba diving included lessons, tennis, free drinks, etc. If that's what they want, yes, there's a savings to that. But I don't consider myself the expert on it. But it is an option to consider if you want something like that.
Now, if somebody wants to learn more or about maybe hiring you as a speaker or learning more about your coaching specifically for their travel, what is the website?
Yeah, well, I would suggest, normally I'm a speaker. If they know of a group, they have obviously now, hopefully speaking is going to come back for their association meetings, conventions next year. That's my forte, is giving a presentation, answering their questions, catering it to the group that, the travel tips and benefits of travel, etc. But right now, I'm offering a free initial consultation to your listeners. If they go to CoachChrisSpeaks.com, it's an automated calendar. They'll get a free consultation with me. I'll be glad to answer their questions if they have, where they're trying to go. There's a little questionnaire first to make the 15 minutes valuable. In other words, how many people in their traveling party, what are their desired destinations, are they a member of a loyalty thing? And I'll try to guide them in the right way, give them the right resources, the right websites, the right blogs to listen to. And if it's something, if I feel I could help them, because I have connections with all the major hotel chains. And again, I talk about timeshares. Preview tours is another way where you could go for 80% off. You have to put up with the sales tour, but you're going to save 80% on the cost of the accommodations, and they're all luxury. So if they go to chrisspeaks.com, and it's an automated calendar. I'll schedule an appointment with them, and there's no problem. If there's a problem with the calendar, then they could send me an email. I also have a free ebook for your listeners, 99 travel tips without skimping. Just send me an email to lifetimeleisure@bellsouth.net and just say they want the ebook and with their name, phone number, and their email address, and I'll get out. It's an ebook. I'll be glad to send them my 99 travel tip ebook as a gift.
Well, Chris, thank you so much for sharing your story today.
Well, it's been my pleasure. I think I just want to leave your listeners how important travel is. I interview a lot of people, and in this environment, like I say, we all need, COVID or no COVID, we've been cooped up. We all need to retreat, relax, renew, rejoice, and really create those memories for a lifetime. Because the best things in life, think about it, they're not the material things. What are they? Your health, your family, your friends, and those precious memories and experiences. And a lot of those memories and experiences happen through travel and leisure. And what I try to do is make it affordable to them, so they can't say, "Oh, we can't afford it," because you don't have to be rich to live rich. And I'm glad to help these people out. I consider myself the #1 travel guru. It's in my blood. It's like a drug to me, and I love to help people out, save money, and let them live the dream, so to speak.
All right, this is Lee Cantor. We will see you all next time on Coach the Coach Radio.